All right, so hey, welcome to the Inquisitive Mind of Louis T podcast. We got some people out here with me. We're going to have them go around and introduce themselves. We're going to start with always ladies first.
My name is Barbie Washington. I am a mortgage broker and a mom of 6. Good friend to lose and excited to be here.
All right, ready. My name is Mark Miller. First name's John. I've always gone by John, you know. Yes, sir. Too many Johns, you know, back in too many Johns, so went by Mark. Stayed like that.
All right, and then across from me.
Yo, what's up? My name is Mo. Like I said, a lot of y'all probably know me just from around town, club scene and stuff. Been back in Wilmington since 01, I reckon. You know, still in the restaurant business, doing my thing, chopping it up with great minds like Louis T when I can.
Yep,
and I already feel it. I got the tingles sitting by you.
And we got for the fans on Facebook, we got a great interview that I did with Mo about 2 years ago. So check that out. You know, real in depth, and make sure you check out his own videos that he posts. So to start this episode out, you know, really my motivation for like even doing this, I mean, I was motivated for having the topic of the NWord as a whole, because it's just been, so one, like a few weeks ago, and I don't even know if this is on your radar, but there was a chick from Wilmington that went locally viral and for saying it on Facebook, and then shortly after that, a guy from Charlotte, he released a song, his name by Licavelli, called he released a song called Let the White Kids Say the N-Word. And then so I was just like, you know, and when I found out he was from Charlotte, just not some, you know, anyway, it just kind of made me just kind of motivated to do this topic. So I sent the video to everybody on the show. Most of them couldn't even finish it. So what were some of the thoughts? What are some of the thoughts of that song, and then we'll just kind of open it up to the wider topic of who should say or should not say, or how it should be said as a whole. Yeah. So Barbie, I know you're from France.
Yes.
You know, we didn't say that. So you got like a multicultural experience. So was that something that was used in France at all?
So, no, I think that's one of the reasons why the first time I heard it, it really struck me. And honestly, the first time I heard anyone use the word was as an adult, which is not everyone's experience out here from what I understand. So that also kind of gives me a unique perspective. But no, I've lived in France. I've lived in the Los Angeles area in California. Mm-hmm. And coming to the South was really the first time that I ever heard anyone use it. In France, no, it seemed that it's not at all a word that it would even occur to people to use. In the States, you hear it in music often, and I think that has an impact on who decides to use it, because music is obviously very impactful. You know, and I believe that words have power. I believe that we should focus, like you were saying. I used to say this, and then this happened. Yeah. We should focus on what's coming out of our mouths, because essentially we're creating the world around us with how we use language. So when my first experience hearing the word was super shocking, and it was from a white woman it rolled off her tongue like it was just something she said regularly.
I think you were telling me about that. It was just like she was.
Yeah, like, we were just driving around the neighborhood, and she's. You know, and she's saying, she basically just don't do X, Y, or Z. This is a N-word neighborhood. And I couldn't believe that somebody would say all those words put together the way that she put them together, let alone, I mean, it really blew my mind. And, you know, unfortunately that's pretty common, as I've learned since living here. And, you know, I love the South and I'm staying here. However, that's definitely an issue that I think is overlooked maybe by people who live here and experience that every day, that it's not like that everywhere else.
So speaking of that experience and hearing it at a young age, recently, Mo, I mean, you had a post on your social media that I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, man.
Expound on that.
It's crazy. It was something. My youngest son. I got 3 sons. 18, 19, 10. They're all biracial kids. My 10-year-old. I guess he. Just a little knucklehead kid in his class. The kid that's always doing something wrong. You know what I mean? But I guess my son's a good little athlete, and the boy hates that my son always wins some little game they play or whatever. So he decided to call my son a nigger monkey. 10 years old, you know what I mean, on the playground. And there's no way in hell this 10-year-old knows the weight of what he's saying. You know what I mean? To him, it was just probably like calling him a punk or anything else. But he just knows that this one affects
it's an
brown
insult
skin.
that's gonna affect
Yeah. This is something that hurt him more than anything else. Just because, you know what I mean? So like, and do I know if that kid's parents are like diehard racists? No, his parents might be diehard like urban as hell, like more stereotypically black than me. You know what I mean? That kid might hear that all day long in the house, but now he's taking it out of the house. You know what I mean? And that's, it's just like I said, that's one of those instances. I mean, it's ironic because the first time I remember having that word said to me was I was 10 years old. You know what I mean? Playing a little bit of baseball. And I was the best kid out there by far. It was like one of those leagues where it was 10 teams and I couldn't be on the team with any of my friends I grew up with, black friends, because they made one of us be on each team. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was like that kind of stuff. And like out there, I was like dominating the game. I hear this kid's dad, like I'm hit like a third home run, I think it was. And I'm rounding first base and I hear this kid's dad yell at the opposing team's coach, "Hey, how long you gonna let that little nigga beat us out here tonight before you make some changes?" You know what I mean? Like, so, it's, I say the word sometimes if I get comfortable. You know what I mean? I try not to say it around my kids. My oldest sons don't say it ever. You know what I mean? Like I said, if I'm hanging out with some boys from the block and the people are saying it a lot, I catch myself. I try to fix it. But it's just a word that, I just don't like. I don't like it. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody should be saying it, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? But I definitely, like I said, I just don't know any positive, any situation where things don't have the potential to go horribly wrong if a non-black person says it.
Me personally, like typically my circle is like multicultural, so I typically don't use the word. It's almost unconsciously, but I do find myself, especially thinking about it coming up to this topic. Like, and I mean, like I was leaving Walmart, and then there's somebody with big rims, and it's like when you're pulling out, it's supposed to pull one way, and they put their blinker on for the other way. And then to myself, I was like, you know what I mean? So I was still like in a public setting. I think to my knowledge, I don't say it consciously, but I was like, myself in the privacy of my car, home, whatever. I definitely was like, and I was like, because I'm trying to get here, and I'm like, you're going the other way on New Center, like I'm like, man, but luckily it's quick. He dipped through traffic, so I was like, wow, man. When I saw him throw that turn signal on, I'm like, so I'm a victim.
Yeah, you get caught up.
But I was, like I said, in the privacy of my own car, so I didn't tell you it wouldn't happen. So, Mark, when you're on your Facebook statuses and stuff, you still type it and use it. So, do you do that more as a shock, or are you doing that as like a natural, like just natural? Are you typing? Because I used to write. And people who read my writing that knew me said, "Man, you type the same way you talk." So
that's what I get. People who know me, they say that they're like, "That's the exact same thing for me. The way I talk is how I type." So people like it. Just I guess it makes more sense to people who know me. But if you don't, you're kind of like, well, I've had people say stuff to me like, you're, excuse me, I'm sorry, heartburn. They'll say something like they have issues with my grammar. And I'm like, this is Facebook. This is social media. If this was a report of some sort, I know I'm not stupid. I've been to college. I've completed college. But like you said, the way I social media talk is how I talk. I'm the same way. But, if I have to do some sort of a legitimate assignment or some sort of work-related something, I guess, it depends on the audience. Like, there's the best way for me to describe it. Do you curse at your grandmother?
No.
You just never have, never would, right? You do not curse to your grandmother. But when you're around your friends, you just change how you talk. It's a different setting. It's kind of the same thing. It's just an automatic switch. If I'm hanging around a bunch of white folks, you're never going to hear me say that word because that just would never make any sense. And I grew up that way. You know what I mean? Like, it's a natural thing. You know what I mean? I just don't speak that way around that crowd because it would make no sense. There's not a single white person other than my brother who I would label as my N-word. It just is not a thing. And people, and people might think, oh, well, if you can not do it for him, around him, you should be able to, but it's not. It's not something, it's natural. It's just, I've always, I grew up that way. The same clothes, sports, the way you talk, like, you're just born that way. It's just how it's always been. It's like a routine of sorts. I would just never, that's why I get so, like, I've always had a firm belief that minorities, even, Hispanics, anybody, gonna have a sixth sense of sort toward white folks who, like, are really that way, and a white guy who watched too much BET. You know what I mean? Like, y'all know from the jump. Y'all know from the jump that I grew up in the hood and I'm like that type of person. And the difference between, well, this guy watched Uncut one too many times. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just, it gets awkward. It gets weird. Like, you can tell immediately, even if you don't.
My rebuttal to that is because I was talking to one of my good friends, and he don't have the exact same take as you, but he's like around us because we're such good friends. He feels like he's being censored, and so he just feels kind of like I think Louis C.K. had a skit about just using the N-word, not saying just for the purposes of the show. Not saying nigger, but saying actually saying N-word makes him feel stupid. So my friend was kind of had that point of view. It's like, I don't see why I have to say N-word if I'm quoting something or saying it. And I was like, and here, before I even get to that point, so if you're around those group of white people that you were just talking about, no, you're just saying how you wouldn't say the N-word if you're in a group.
White people in general.
In general, yeah, I'm just saying.
Period, yes.
So those in general white people, what if one of them who are not, because what you're saying, you're of the culture, you're not saying it, whatever. So how would you feel if someone not of the culture said it around you?
You mean like if I'm hanging out, like if it's me and some white folks and one of them's just in conversation says it?
Yeah.
I guess it would depend on who. I mean, honestly, I would kind of question the situation. I'd be like, why?
Exactly.
Like,
See, just think about that feeling for you. Think about it.
Yes.
See, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
I 100% understand what you're saying. Like, I have that. Okay, and
because I get what you're saying. You're not like because you're not you're not like someone who's posing. You're not trying to say it to be saying it. You're not saying it for shock value. It's a part of your vocabulary.
Yes.
You grew up with people. It's a non-issue. But just by me saying that, and by me putting that example, that it is an issue, kind of thing. You know what I mean? When you get what I'm saying?
I do understand, but I'm trying to see like it's such a it's a weird question because it's like I'm trying to figure out how, like, I'm trying to think of the way this like how I'm automatically suspicious of a white person I don't know talking like that.
Exactly.
Like yeah. Like I am that way. But I
and
feel the same way that
I
guys,
knew, and without knowing you, because out of everybody here, you really go by John, not Mark? Or were you just joking? You really go by John?
only in court.
Oh, okay. You said you go by John at the beginning. So
Only when I have to, like, official. Like, if I hear John Miller, ooh, I fucked up. Something's going on. I gotta go.
So me and Mark, this is the first time we like officially met. But so I don't know Mark as well as I know like Barbie, Bo. But me just meeting him and talking to him, I knew from him telling me about his background, if a random white person said the N-word, he would feel away. So, and I mean, just think about that emotion.
I can't feel the way that you feel, though. I understand that.
Okay, that's the point I'm trying to get across.
I understand that. And my thing is, okay, I am 35 years old. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm going to cry.
I'm 41, man.
Oh, good Lord. A gentleman never asks and a lady never tells. My bad. But so like it's just so strange. Like I kind of like lost my frame of thought there. Okay, here's what I was trying to get at. Like when you just get so used to doing something, it's almost like anything. You just get used to something, and I understand if someone. Okay. There's no way anybody can convince me. There's no way any black person, male or female, regardless of age, could ever convince me that for the past 35 years, all these black folks that I've been around, whether it be friends, just met them, whoever, have been, quote, polite or letting it slide just because it's me. If you came up to me and said, you know what, Mark, we need to talk about this. These white people have been lying to you for 35 years. I'd believe that because I know us and we lie. But you're never going to convince me that y'all just been okay with this. And now all of a sudden it's something that needs to be discussed. It's super hard for me to believe that. So when somebody is offended by it, it's a simple thing for me. If I've never met you before, like you, for instance, we've never met. If you came up to me and you were like, hey man, you're a cool guy, we get along, but it makes me feel a certain way. Could we not do this anymore? And I'd be like, I apologize. And around you, I would make a legit, a real hard effort for it to never come out of my mouth around you again. No questions asked, because it's not my word or rule. It's not, my opinion. To me, I don't feel like any Caucasian should have an opinion on who should say that word ever. That's my point of view. Mm-hmm. So if you ask me, hey, could you not do that around me? Done. No questions asked.
Which I did.
And only twice in my entire life have
Three times now. Well, because I asked you not to say it for the show.
Oh, well, yeah, right. I get what you mean. But I mean, only 3 times in my life has somebody ever said to me, hey, don't do that. And it's never been negative. It's never been rude. I've never had a violent, angry altercation, from strangers or, somebody I knew. It's just never happened. And because, I would never, there's no possible way I could ever argue with you about that, for instance. I have no ground to stand on, you know what I'm saying? So when somebody asks, I just don't do it. End of story. But if somebody else comes up, for instance, and is like, I can't even count how many times I've been let's say I'm out eating dinner with just any friends and I get a phone call and I'm listening to a story, and in this phone conversation you hear me say, damn, that's crazy, you overhear it. I can't tell you how many times I've had some random white chick be like, oh my God, I can't believe you would say that. That's so ugly. Get mad at me. Way too many times. You know what I mean? And when stuff like that happens, it personally drives me insane because as a Caucasian, I don't feel like we have any Like, what are you talking about? Like, you can't come up with a word and offend people with it and then go around and try to tell people not to, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's just so insane to me.
But,
That somebody would say that because in one last tiny little part of this, I'm ranting, I apologize. Growing up, everybody who looked like me didn't talk to me because my friends didn't look like them. From day one, everybody who looked like me didn't like me because the majority of my friends looked like you. So, and now all of a sudden, those same people who have called me a wigger, a wannabe, way worse stuff than that. Yeah. All of a sudden, those are the same people that are inboxing me, hey man, you need to do better. You need to try harder. You're racist. I can't believe you just said this on your Facebook, stuff like that. And it's like, it just blows my mind that these people who said, who were just racist and rude my entire life are now all of a sudden telling me I need to do better because me and my, homies talk how we talk. And it just drives me absolutely insane. And it happens way too often. We as in white people have a huge problem being offended on behalf of other people more than they are. Does that make any sense? Like, it's a Redskins rally, and there's 2 Native Americans and 80 white ladies. And it just drives me insane. Like, stop feeling so guilty that you're like 100 deep and they're not even here.
Well, I mean, that's because the white man killed them all off.
Nah, man, they're still selling oranges on I-40. I know who they are. They're not dead. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the whole, it's nuts how white guilt, it sounds like some like social joke, but it's so real and it's so annoying to me to see it because I've cared about you people, for lack of a better term, because y'all have always cared about me because we were friends. I've always cared and gave a fuck about everybody who cared about me. I treat people how they treat me. End of story. And now to see all these people switch it up all of a sudden and tell me I need to do better because now all of a sudden it's popular for them on Facebook.
They wasn't shooting
to
with
care.
You in the gym.
Yes. Exactly.
But on the other end, you just heard Barbie tell a story of how some white lady used it. And she was generally offended. In that context, the woman was using it offensively. But I mean, I think that's the part that is missing. Like the word itself, especially in today's climate, is offensive. It's like it is different than 35 years ago. Not knocking any of your friends or anything that you said, but there's line, like the way things are going, there's like lines in the sand, and by you, like that shifts you from almost being an ally, because the way you talk, everything, you're an ally in everything that's going on. That puts you over there with people that wear red, make America great again hats. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. In which I don't, talking to friends, I know that's not where you stand. And so I don't even see, and I'm not even talking to like you in general, but the, what just in general, why people want to hold on to that word so much, because now you're that's putting you on that side of the fence. So I don't even know why you would want to be. You obviously want to be over here with us.
But because
you know what I mean. So
because to me, it's not about a word. Like people are simplifying a life issue of mine, not issue, but a lifetime, like a whole thing, and making it about a hat. It's almost like the kneeling. Yeah. Like they're taking a huge justice thing and they're being like, well, you kneel. Like that one word doesn't come close to. Like, to just, you know what I mean?
Just
like
speaking to the whole situation.
This one situation does not. It just can't. it can't. It's not all that. And it's the other thing where it's like, well, you didn't retweet that you thought this was racist, so now you must be racist. After 30 years of, me just being a good person in general to whoever, to everyone, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't think the NWord situation is that colossal. So now all of a sudden I'm being questioned after 35 years of me being just an all around like supporting whoever now, and I don't mean you guys questioning me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, but now all of a sudden it comes down to something so basic, and I know the word isn't basic, and I understand the whole, everything, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. So wait, let's put a pin in that. So, y'all, how do y'all feel about Mark's explanation? How he feels about it? I mean, we already know he doesn't care what you think, Barbie, but we'll let you. I'm joking. Jokes, guys.
I don't know what she is yet, so I'm like, what? Like, we know what her parents wanted her to be by her name, but now I'm just gonna sit back and wait.
I think our social backgrounds are going to have a lot to do with how we view things as well. I mean, his social background has obviously been very different from my social background.
Actually, because we were talking about this earlier off camera. He's from Fayetteville. He grew up in the hoods of Fayetteville. Yeah. So
Ramsey Street.
Yeah.
Barbie also lives in Fayetteville.
I lived on Ramsey Street for 12 years.
I got family off of Ramsey Street.
Yeah. But yeah,
My brother went to FSU.
All right.
I went for a semester. Yeah.
So.
But I think obviously, it's a position you'll be asked to defend again and again. And one of the things you said was I considered later on in life and have sort of changed the way that you approach it. And so I think that's kind of what it boils down to is it's going to be a question and a conversation you're going to need to have over and over again with yourself, with the people around you, and whatnot. How I feel about his position is kind of irrelevant because I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. But I would, like anything else, I would encourage each of us to just kind of consider what happens when we encounter people, how our conversations go,
I'd like to hear, if there's anything else, like if you think I've said something that sounds bullshit, tell me. I don't mean that in like an aggressive way. Talk about it. If there's something you think because you can ask him, like a lot of people, like for whatever ridiculous reason, like listen to me about kind of shit like this, people come to me and are like, hey Mark, what's up with black folks right now? You know what I mean? Like I kind of have like a bridge, right? You know what I'm saying? Like people come to me and ask me shit for some reason. So like if there's something like a better argument or point of view that I could use to help explain to people, I would like to hear like if there's something you want to
So Mo, what's your feelings?
I mean, man, it always. And like I said, I did a video and you saw how I felt.
I'm just saying, not for me personally.
Yeah, but just overall, I'm always asked the question of why I say it. And what would change if you never said it again? It's a term of endearment. Everybody has different experiences, and I ain't walking about in nobody else's shoes but mine, so I don't tell people like what in their brain should make sense because some of the shit I do won't make sense to other people. You know what I mean? Right. But I have like kind of 2 points that I always bring up to people, because there's two walks of life, or there's two groups people fit in that use it comfortably, like non-black people. You've got that's all he knows. He grew up in that. That was just the way he learned to talk, literally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have the ones who are, I kind of like, I've married into this, or I dated myself into being able to use this word. Like it ain't something I've always done, but now that I'm in that culture or in that circle, I'm kind of blessed in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So then I would say, if you say that, I would say there's three.
Then. But I always say to both of those groups,
hard R.
Right.
I literally on Facebook one day I was in a discussion about the NWord, and it was a white chick. She got on there and she was like, put a picture of her and her husband and they 3 kids, and she was like, everywhere. You know, I've been with this man for over 13 years, and you know, I've always been in the hip hop scene, and like that's just how we talk. I go to his mama house and I talk to his sisters and brothers, and I'd say the N-word and da 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 da, and it's not a problem over here. And I was like, well, would they think you love them less if you called them bro?
Yeah.
Homegirl.
Yeah.
Like, would they think would that diminish your relationship? Would they pull you to the side and be like, hey,
Right.
what if I did? I'm sorry. Like you been calling me by my real name today. Like I don't get it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
that
like,
deserves a conversation.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna change your relationship that you feel like if that word is the bond you have, you ain't got no bond.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for, you know, somebody like from Mark's walk, you know, somebody who didn't do it because it's cool or because they get to. You know what I mean? He does it because,
I don't.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You do it because
Yeah.
it's just what you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like the hard part.
I would say going like somebody like that. I would like going forward. I know it's tough. Like, you know, 35 years in, but always as a saying, I always tell people, like, when people thought they get the N-word pass, you know,
Yeah.
I'd be like, there's a million McDonald's around the world. They all give out free breakfast sandwiches. But most of them, what do? They stamp the address at the one you can use it at on the back. It's only valid at this location. So that pass is only valid around the people that you built that relationship with. You go somewhere else, you know what I mean? Like I got one of my closest friends. This guy grew up, his dad literally got murdered by racists in Alabama. In my video, that's why I was referencing. I didn't go into it because I didn't want him to. I didn't want people to couldn't make that connection.
Yeah.
His dad literally got lynched pretty much by some racists, some Klan members. You know what I mean? This was in the freaking late 80s.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what I mean? This kid's like my age. He's like freaking 12. You know what I mean? In Alabama, you know? And that kid, like, he grew up, like, just in that environment, you know what I mean? And to this day, this guy, I think he has maybe one white friend because he just can never trust white people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He never can. So, and I've seen him angry one time. It was when a white guy was saying the N-word with an A on the end. It wasn't even like...
Yeah, the hard R.
But his brain was so wired to that. Like, when he heard that word, he had a trained response to it for what was going to follow behind it. Come with the person saying it, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And this guy tried to kill this guy. And the guy that was saying it, with the whole, like, he had one look in his face when we got it all separated. Why? Like, what? He's like, what just happened? What did I do? I don't even know what I just did. I don't know what I did. I don't even know this guy. Why did he jump on me? Like, and I was just like, bro, like, that's like I said, you're when you say that out loud, like, you're taking a chance that you better hope everybody's cool with it, not just the people you really talking to.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right,
Like,
yeah,
because
Right.
most people are gonna be like me or Lewis. Most black men were gonna hear it and be like, and just, you know, because we're just like, you know what, this can't go but one way if I say something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like you're like the 0.0001% that might turn out to be somebody like, all right, you know, I get a good vibe from this guy, whatever. You know, we're just gonna squash it. But I'm like, I just don't. I always challenge people to tell me one, like, surefire positive impact it has on
It's a
your
great
world.
question.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's how I see it. You know what I mean? Like I said, everybody has their reasons. You know, and I don't question people's reasons. You know what I mean? Because that's yours. But like I said, but your reasons don't change the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, and I've talked to my boy Ronnie about this before, like, everything you're saying, I think, and I'm just asking if maybe you've noticed, like, you know, I haven't been around for a while, moved away and came back, but, I mean, like, as far as, especially, like, as my Facebook goes, like, I mean, I don't say anything about it because I don't think it's something I, like, want to, like, call it out because I don't think I deserve cool points for it, but I feel like I do say it less, and I have tried it. Like,
I have noticed,
do you feel like I've done that.
I don't feel like you use it in jest like as much. I don't feel like you do it for like comic. Like,
And through like regular conversation, like I mean, and, you know, it's not something because I don't think I deserve to be like, hey, good for Mark. He's a white guy and says that word less. Give him a pat on the back. Like it's like getting cool points for paying child support on time. Like you're not babysitting your kid; it's your kid. You're with your son. You know what I'm saying? Like so, it's not something I deserve a high five for. But I just I was just curious. Do you think? I feel like I've been trying.
You're making a conscious effort.
Yeah. And I just wanted to ask him because I know he knows me better, and you know he's on my Facebook. I was just asking him now. I guess I could have just asked him outside because now I feel like I kind of did it on camera like a lame.
Nah, man. Like
now, Gus, that wasn't my intention. Like I went.
But like that, I think that just wraps back to. I'll keep this short. I know we're getting short on time. I think that just wraps back to your awareness that things are changing.
You know, none of my friends.
But not your friend. But you're like this shit. It almost ain't worth it. Like if I got to deal with this bullshit, like I'm tired of like these people judging me and fucking talking down to me and questioning who the fuck I am. Fuck y'all. Like it's easier not to deal with that. If that's their only access to me. I think it's a subconscious thing that you're doing. Like, you're just like,
what's been strange to me, like the oddest thing is that. Well, it's a story for another. I'll talk to y'all when this is done.
So all right. In closing, let's go around. Any like closing words? Again, Barbie. In closing, you have any things?
I just think people need to continue to have these types of conversations. I think this is really good. Even just people listening to this, asking themselves the same question: what would change if I did things differently? I think it's great. And
do you have any information like for people to might want to follow you or any other thing you want to say? I am Port City Barbie on Instagram, Facebook, and actually Twitter too, which I never use anymore, but it's up there. So you can reach me that way. Okay. Mo, any closing words?
Yeah, I mean, she nailed it, man. I tell people all the time, when I have these kind of talks, I'm not looking to be right. You're probably not gonna make me feel wrong. Like, but every talk you have with someone, you just gain an understanding. Like that's, everybody's talking about the racial divide. Like, the only way we're gonna get together is if we just share space with each other. You know what I mean? Like it's that, and it's gonna be them tough convos. Like it's gonna be them convos that make you uncomfortable, man. Like when you're a little boy and you go to your mom and say my leg's hurting for no reason. What they say is growing pains, man. Like it's gonna be some discomfort to growth. You know what I mean? And you just gotta keep doing it. You gotta be willing to do it. And that's one thing for all you white folks out here watching this. You wanna know what you can do for race relations in America? Sit down and listen. And be honest when you respond. That's all.
Mark, you got any closing words or anything you like to say?
I mean...
Oh, wait. Do you got any social media you want to shout out or anything?
Facebook, pretty much. I'm on Instagram, too. Most of my stuff that I do, like videos on Facebook, is just LaVar Moultrie, LaVarMoultrie. That's it.
All right, Mark, any closing words, anything you want to say?
I mean, well, first of all, I just, wanted to apologize for being the stereotypical white guy, just showing up on my own time, just being late as hell. I'm sorry for that, but seriously, I appreciate you, reaching out for me to even come over here and talk, because, this is kind of something I've always kind of wanted to be a part of, but, for a lot of longer, more personal stories, I've kind of been, scared to get out here to
you have a lot of stories.
Talk on stuff. And, I've just been there's a lot of funny stuff, but there's serious reasons why I've never gotten to this point to have I know I'm loud in person, out in public, but to actually have the confidence to talk with cameras and stuff. This is kind of weird to me. So I just I appreciate you even asking. You didn't know me. You got a story from Pizza Jeff. Pizza Jeff, quick context. When he said I say it all the time.
Well, he didn't say it all the time.
This is coming from a dude who never says it. So to him, I probably do. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, this guy, I was because we had never met. And I was like, man, he probably thinks there's something weird about me. Because Jeff was he was supposed to be Jason Terrell's only white friend, and then I showed back up, and there was some tension there for a minute. It was like, Mark gets to say the N-word and everything. This is bullshit.
Oh my God.
This was a setup from the beginning.
You got
But I
any,
love Jeff, though, man. Jeff's awesome.
You got any social medias or anything? that you-
My Facebook is Mark Miller, MarcMiller, and my Instagram is Cats and Cadillacs, spelled just like that. Cats and Cadillacs, Maine Coons for life. But seriously, thanks, man. This was fun. And I would like if you ever have anything else, man, I got a lot of problems and issues that I would love to run my mouth about.
All right.
And then and look, I went the whole time, no N-words, not a one. If I can do it, any white person can do it.
And this is Inquisitive Mind of Louis T podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, make sure you share it with your friends. You can search it by searching IMoLT on social media. You can find the Instagram, you can find the Facebook, and most importantly, find the YouTube to find more content. So, and our sponsors, you can have your name and product somewhere up here. So they're always looking for people to help the content coming. And thank y'all for tuning in and making it this long.
That's right, y'all.
And I think all
click, subscribe,
Thanks
share.
for not sending me home for making noises. Sorry, guys.
And Mark, thank you, Barbie, Mo, thank y'all for coming. I mean, this is not like a lot of people didn't want to have this conversation on camera. You know what I mean? This is like a barbershop conversation, kind of like brought out in the open. So Mark, I mean, I appreciate you for coming. A lot of people who there's a lot of people who do say the word, but wouldn't come and admit it on camera in front of people they don't know.
Like they feel like they're going to get jumped when it's really just a conversation. I didn't, at no point did I feel like I was up here explaining myself. I just thought, it was something that
let's have a conversation. You got a different view. Even though we're on the same side of the fence, still each one of us kind of got a different view and take on it. So, and that's like I said, it's just having a conversation. And thank y'all for tuning in.
Yeah.